It's spring in Alaska. Everything is melting. I am just wearing short. I have to have boots because snow is still pretty deep some places. But I get away with just wearing short and feeling warm and cozy. So, time to collect birch syrup. Here's things that I keep locked up for the winter. I bought this maple syrup spout from Amazon, and this is from Home Depot, the tubing, and I just cut it to length. And I like to pump birch juice like about 2-3 feet off the ground, so that's why I make it longer. The spout's a little longer, and then I estimate where my bottle is going to be. Usually bottle is leaning against the tree, so you can't just stand it up perfect. Oops, I have a spout came out. And so now we're gonna drill holes on this lens somewhere right here and start pumping birch syrup. So let me put these guys away. Oops, it's falling. All right, here we go. So as you can see, this is pretty deep. It's like an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches deep, and the tree all around it is like what? I want to say like 8-9 inches in diameter, maybe. So you can see the birch syrup start coming out. Ooh, everything is flying off. So here we go, our birch syrup. Start leaking through. Chihuahua tried to make through this deep snow. Good job, Tata. All right, so you can see that it's leaking. So we're just gonna put the spout in. We're just gonna try to wiggle it in there, which is not always easy. And by the way, the hole, I make it a little bit smaller than the spout, so it's tight. Did I break it? No. So it's pretty tight for me. That's how I want it. I want it tight. I don't want to. Sometimes birch juice leaks, or birch water, however you call it. But sometimes it leaks all around. I don't want that. And another reason I want to make a hole way off the ground. You can see, here we go. Here's the liquid gold, liquid health. You know, look at that. So much of it. Just drip, drip, dripping. The reason why you want it high up, because what happens, so you can see we're right by the lake. So there is a lot of, birch love moisture. So there is a lot of water underneath. So the roots are really healthy and happy. But what happens in the springtime, like right now, the roots they're collecting all of the water from the bottom up, and the water is actually not over here. It's mostly go up the trunk of the tree, way up, way up to those branches to fill in the the birch buds, so they flourish, so they have enough water to start opening up the leaves, and the buds start forming things to all of the water flowing from the ground all the way up. So that's the purpose of doing it a little higher, because I've noticed, like, when I do it more lower, there's not as much of success as when you do it higher up. And the last tip I have to tell you guys, since I'm showing how to do it, it is my responsibility to also tell you, when you're done juicing, like collecting birch sap, you have to do this because the basically the tree will bleed out if you don't stop, if you don't put something in this hole, if you don't block it. It's still going to be bleeding out, and it's not healthy. The tree is going to be leaking. It's like living with the wound. So what I do after a couple of weeks, when I'm done collecting my birch juice, I just grab this nice plump, juicy, spongy, goodness, I forgot the name for it. Remind me what the name for it. Moss. That's it, moss. And I grab a bunch of moss, and I get a stick from the tree, something from the ground like that, and I'll get the moss, and I slowly, it takes me a couple of minutes, and I slowly just stick it in there. I stuff the hole up really, really nice and deep, and I do it with each hole. And so I tell you, I usually put 2 of these guys, and they produce about half gallon to a gallon of water a day, so that's plenty. So I have usually 4. I found 4 plenty. I try to do more, but it's unnecessary. So I'll have 2 on this side. I'm gonna make another one right here, and I also already just set up this one, this guy right here, and you can see it's going nicely. I let it run for just a quick minute before putting bottle in here, so it's like clearing the tube, and just like the first gunky stuff that's come out of it just comes out. But you can see it's dripping nicely. There we go. There we go, it's dripping nicely. So I'm just gonna set up the bottles once the first gunky water comes out. And here we go. Just don't forget, very, very, very important, not to hurt the tree. And I rotate. I do not use the same tree every year. And you guys can tell I have lots of birch trees all over the place here. There we go. There's more birch trees right by the lake. So I don't reuse the same tree. And I make sure, you can see, every birch tree have moss, lots of moss. So I use this moss at the end of my birch juicing season to stuff it. And this is what I'm going to be drinking for the next 2-3 weeks. No water, just birch juice, birch water. Some people say water juice, but I will not drink regular water. I will be drinking that, and the reason for that, and this is very, very healthy and rejuvenating, and most importantly, detoxifying water. And if you Google and research about the birch juice, you're gonna find out, birch water, you're gonna find out that this water extremely detoxifying to our kidneys. So once a year, drinking this water exclusively for 2-3 weeks will help detoxify your kidney, which is very a hard thing to do. It's not easy to detoxify kidney. They usually get pretty gunked up, after 20, 30, 40, 50 years of use. So this is a good detoxifying once a year, just like nature intended for us. It's once a year you do the cleanse. I do it for 2-3 weeks, just exclusively this kind of water, and then I stop. And the kidney is not the only benefit of it. There's tons of benefit. It has tons of minerals in it, tons of minerals, and probiotics. It goes bad. This water goes bad really fast because how living it is. So you have to literally drink it in a day. And just try it. I highly recommend. It's amazing. I've been doing it for years, and I really think this everybody should take advantage of it. Just remember that you have to make sure tree is older. It's not a young tree. Not it's stocky. It has some years on it, so it's pretty. Like you can see my hand, so this is what, like 10, 12 inches in diameter. So this tree is, I don't know, 20-year-old tree. So I pick older trees, but not too old and definitely not young, because I go kind of deep. I go about 1.5 inches, maybe even 2, somewhere in there. So, and at the end, it is definitely a person's responsibility who put the holes in there to make sure block it in so the tree doesn't bleed out. All right, guys. I want to show you guys. So I made this hole for the birch juice, but I've noticed it's not pumping as much as the other two. Like this one is pumping pretty good. And this angle or something about it, it wasn't pumping as good. So I am stuffing it with the moss, and that's a very important step not to miss. So I just find a bunch of moss and then just like gradually stuff it in, just using a stick off the ground, something, just making sure this is stuffed very, very good, because I don't want to leave the tree bleeding out and hurting the tree, making tree sick, and then the bugs can get in this hole or tree can just bleed out because of the juice. So or the infection can get in. So I make sure I stuff it with the moss, and then at the end when I stuff it with the moss, I just leave the stick in there for it to keep it extra sturdy so moss doesn't come out. Here we go. Here we go. This is our first batch. Look, it's clear just as water. Almost. Here's it. You can see how it's dripping. I don't know if you can really see if it's dripping, but it's dripping nicely. I had to prop it with different things because I came here this morning and it wasn't dripping in a bottle because bottle tilted, so I just set up a couple of things in here. And I already collected almost a gallon of this this morning, and I replaced it with this bottle. It's also prepped because it was dripping on the ground because the bottle got dislocated. So I prepped it with different things that I had handy. Here we go. It's dripping nice and just drip, drip, drip. One drip at a time to this beautiful, detoxifying, beautiful, beautiful drink of life.